So I learned not just the maintenance part, but I also learned a lot of operational part because I was continuously seeing the uh, controllers interacting with the pilot. Within the Air Force also, there's an exam that you give and qualify to become a software engineer within the Air Force because 2018-19 everybody started talking about AI without not many knowing what is AI, right? And then in 2020 when I did my course, so that was also something which really excited me, and I wanted to get into this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnishii'd podcast, where we bring you honest conversation with people who have built meaningful careers so students can learn from real experiences and practical advice.
So today guest has had a truly unique career journey from servicing in the Indian Air Force for over 14 years and working on AI and avionics system to now leading applied AI initiative at IIT Bombay. It's a journey that has a lot to teach inspiring engineers.
Sir, it's a pleasure to have you with us and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So, sir, let's start from the beginning. Can you walk us through your journey, like from Indian Air Force to
Mhm.
AI and now IIT Bombay?
Okay, uh, sure. So I joined the Indian Air Force. Before that, like if I start from beginning, then probably I'll start from my engineering time. So I did my engineering and passed out in 2009, and 2009 was the time when recession had hit, and then there was a really suffering in the job market, and I had got a job in L&T, that is in again Mumbai. So the L&T job got deferred, so I did some 2 3 ad hoc jobs, and then finally L&T called. I served for L&T for a year, and then the Air Force call came. So I went for the SSB and then probably cleared that to my good luck, and then entered into the Air Force as a technical officer. And then I got transferred into the radar streams. I got specialized into the radar streams.
Okay.
So in the radar streams, I learned about how to maintain the radars, how to do the upkeeps, and probably so radars are the eyes of the sky, right? Uh, so I learned not just the maintenance part, but I also learned a lot of operational parts because I was continuously seeing the uh, controllers interacting with the pilots, and then so all that picture was very nice, right? And then after that, I got shifted. So within the Air Force also, there's an exam that you have to give and qualify to become a software engineer within the Air Force because the
Yeah.
specialization is very niche. And the avionics software is generally not taught anywhere. So it's a very, very specialized skill. So I gave the exam, and then I passed that exam, and then went again with that grill of 6 months of actually getting into that particular system. Uh, so that was the time when this particular AI journey started. So uh, I did my course of AI back then, I think in 2020. So I did my AI course with IIT Bombay itself, which was a certificate course. And post that course, the utilization came in the form of developing something for the Air Force. So there I developed some AI solutions for the Air Force, and I hope I did some justice to whatever I was doing. And that's where the story started. And post that, then I came out of the Air Force after serving 14 glorious years in 2025, and then post that I am with IIT Bombay. So there's a center called Technocraft Center for Applied AI, and here we are trying to apply the AI in terms of okay, do the research and then migrate that thing to a product. So it's a translational research sort of center, and so I'm the program director for that center, and I've been here since last 1+ year or so. So yeah, that's the journey.
Okay. So, what inspired you to move into AI? Was there a
Mhm.
particular moment that influenced this decision, or did it happen gradually over time?
No, no, no. There was a particular moment, and see, 2018-19, everybody started talking about AI without not many knowing what is AI, right? And then in 2020, when I did my course, so that was also something which really excited me, and I wanted to get into this. So that particular artificial intelligence, what we saw in the movies mostly, I just wanted to realize that, okay, how to apply this. That's why I enrolled for this course, and then I cleared the course and whatever, I passed the course. But yes, software development per se, I knew software development, how to develop codes and how to write codes and how to develop the products. But then AI really struck me because I was more towards, I wanted to find, okay, what can happen next, right? And that generally, I think a lot of AI enthusiasts who entered wanted to find what stock price would go next. So that was my journey also. I wanted to predict the price of those stocks. And I said that, okay, might as well try something which is out of the box, which is like AI telling you instead of the hardcore rules. The intention was to actually utilize this skill and translate it into some space of stocks. That never got materialized. But then, yes, it was an exciting space to enter, and I think it is even now a very exciting space to enter.
Okay.
Sir, so shifting from this structured environment of the Air Force
Mm.
to a research-focused place like IIT Bombay
Mhm.
must have been a big change. Like, so how was the transition for you?
Yeah, so transition was initially difficult because uh, there it's a very structured, as you mentioned, it's a very, very regimental uh, behavior and the environment. So once something is expected from you, you have to do it, irrespective of whether you like it or not, uh, and irrespective of whether you've told somebody some job, irrespective of whether that person is doing that job correctly or not correctly, but at least he's doing that job, right?
Yeah.
So that's the regimental way of looking at it. So yes, we were attuned to follow instructions, be disciplined. uh, there's always a feedback loop in our blood now, that yes, the moment we get some work, then we have to, irrespective of whether that work is completed or not, we have to give the feedback and all those things. Whereas entering into this research world is totally different, wherein it's slightly slow paced, I will say, because it takes a lot of time for you to find something, get deep down into that particular subset of the topic, and then find out, okay, like, don't leave any loose ends. It's just like that, right? So it's slightly slow in pace, but yes, it's exciting because every day you're learning something new, which probably there it was not. So I knew that yes, I have to do this drill every day, even if it's with respect to the maintenance part or my technical part or anything like that. Software development definitely was curious over there, but yes, for most of the 4G environment, it's mostly you will say that yes, it's routined. Whereas in research, probably you will spend days without cracking anything, and probably you will spend hours up by cracking all the things. So it's different. So that ways it is exciting. But yes, maybe if I tell somebody in that parlance that I want to get this work done today, it might as well not happen because it's research, right? Yeah.
So many students want to build a career in AI today.
Mhm.
From your
Mhm.
experiences, what skill actually matters when hire an AI ML engineers?
Yeah. So I will say gone are those days where we used to say that, okay, build the model, right? So I, for one, having built a model from scratch, although it was not a deep neural network, it was a small, I will say, 5, 6 layered neural network. Uh, but at least I learned the foundations over there. But now things have changed. Now you have state of the art models which are performing very good, and unless you have a very, very customized prompt statement for you, most of the things are being solved by these models, right? So now if I have to expect that kind of expertise, probably I am on the wrong side of the interview or the interview panel. But I will say that yes, uh, some things that you must know is probably like, if at all there is a model at your disposal, how to use that model, how to extract the information from that model, how to plug that model into your system, right? If the model is hallucinating, if the model is not behaving correctly or giving you the right inferences, then probably how to tweak that, not at a foundational layer, foundational level wherein you go and do the hyperparameter tuning and all. But at least I will expect somebody that yes, because a lot of models are now converted into agents, right? So these are the agentic AI things. So now I would expect somebody to at least curate their prompts in terms of getting the right outputs if they're not getting the right outputs. So that's the basic minimum I think is expected from anybody.
Okay.
Uh,
So, nowadays, like
hmm.
most of the resume contains like AI, LLMs, RAG,
Yeah.
and also AI agents. Like, how will you tell the difference between someone who truly understands AI and someone who is just using the buzzwords? Like,
So ask them a very simple question: what is RAG? So, so this is interesting. So whenever, and generally we do a lot of interviews and a lot of hiring in that sense. So all the candidates, the moment you hear and sort of go through their resume, it feels like they are directly graduated from Harvard or Stanford. And the moment you start interacting with them, probably they are not up to any tier three college also. So my first question would be like, give me a simplistic RAG architecture and then explain every component from that. And this is something uh, which is a basic minimum expected from any person who is a AI engineer, right? Uh, so anybody, I have had a lot of candidates come to me and tell me that okay, we've implemented this, and it's a rack system and all. But the moment you talk about okay, what model did you plug in? So they're clueless. So if you don't know this basic thing that okay, this is a model that I've plugged in, and this is the reason that I've plugged in this model for this particular problem to get solved. If you don't know that also, then probably you're just cloning the GitHub repo and just playing that.
Okay. So, sir, when you look at a student projects or a GitHub profiles, what
Mhm.
makes a candidate stand out?
Uh, Actually, it's slightly not very straight in terms of what makes a candidate stand out is one is the projects that they've done, and I would want to look at uh, some hard numbers over there, right? So maybe if you give me a resume, most of the resumes are probably did one fraud analysis. I did agentic system. I implemented an agency system with knowledge base querying and all those things. But then I would really want that particular resume to bring out some numbers. That means that okay, uh, with a with the accuracy level of so and so, I was able to do that. Implemented maybe how do you measure the accuracy in that case? Right. So there are some ways that you actually measure the accuracy of your system, even if it's an AI system. So there are some scores. So I would really want that okay to annotate those scores over there that this was a score against uh, uh, this particular problem that we were solving or this particular model that we were experimenting with in terms of maybe a computer vision problem or maybe a detection or classification problem. I would want them to also quantify uh, what challenge they ultimately solved and how they solved, right? So what challenge they solved generally written out in the resumes, but how they solved is not known. It's always an unknown with them also because it's an unknown with them, so that's why it's not coming out in the resume. So if I say that okay, I took these images, I augmented them in so and so way, and then I fine tuned a particular model, got uh, accuracy score of or a recall of or a precision of so and so uh, compared against the benchmarks of so and so, and from this the system was able to reliably detect novel images with so and so scores. I think that would give a much more better appreciation of that particular understanding, right? So one is this. Then probably if you're saying that okay, I implemented a RAG, and I know that most of the people are just cloning the GitHub repos and then probably trying to explain those repos to you. But then it's more important that you yourself understand what is going behind the scenes. So if I say that, okay, I created this vector database, right? And with the embedding dimensions of x by x, right? X by y, whatever. So and the justifications for that. So ideally, I would want the candidate put up the justifications also, and not just okay what they've done. So I really, even if it's a single project mentioned in your resume, that would still suffice for me uh, if it's very elaboratively mentioned instead of 5 different projects, which makes no sense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
And like, sir, how important is like domain knowledge, like defense or aerospace, compared to having strong technical skills?
Compared to having,
Strong technical skills.
so technical skills will help you to code, right?
Mhm.
Technical skills will help you to develop that application. But the moment you detach it with the domain knowledge, probably what you're building will not make any sense.
Mm.
So just to give you a small example, if I tell you that okay, you have great technical skills and now build me a solution which predicts the health of a system.
Okay.
Take that system, since I'm from Air Force, take that system to be an aircraft,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I will tell you, okay, I want you to predict the health of the aircraft. Now you might have amazing technical skills. That means that you know that okay, I for this thing to be achieved, I know I this is the technical stack that I have, right? I will use this particular model to get this. I will use that particular architecture to achieve this.
Mm.
But do you know how the aircraft flies? No. Do you know what affects those parameters which you're trying to predict or infer by AI, right? Uh, do you know that if I ask this question, then the AI should give me this kind of an answer?
Mm.
That all you don't know, right? So
Mm.
for that you need a subject matter expert. I can build a very good rack system by just uh, dumping in all the technical documents. But if the person who's answering the question is not as technical as me, that means that he's not good in prompting, he's not good in asking the right questions.
Yeah.
That system will only give me chunks,
Mm.
right? The output will only be junk. Uh, but the moment I know that yes, this is the audience that I'm trying to serve,
Mm.
and this is the kind of questions that they will ask, I can fine tune my system to be able to address those challenges. Right. So that's where I need a subject matter expert to continuously tell me and guide me that, okay, this is the line of thought, this is how we think, and this is what we want.
Mm.
Everything is very important. Every activity is very important.
Yeah. Okay, like according to like student, like write so many things in their resume, but
Yeah.
that actually doesn't matter.
Yeah. So if you are smart enough to know that yes, this is something that I'm just writing for the sake of it, might as well just remove it. Because if you think that yes, I'm writing it just for the sake of it, definitely the person who's reading the resume is also thinking the same way. And most of the resumes in any get anyway get passed through that AI. So AI doesn't. The more you glorify yourself, AI is not concerned about that. AI is only looking for keywords.
Okay.
Um, like many students don't come from IITs or have strong industry connections.
Mhm.
Like, what advice will you give them to break into good AI rules?
Yeah, just be honest with your job. Just be honest with whatever you study and whatever you claim that you've done. Uh, Generally, a lot of people just, as I said, just clone the GitHub repo and then map it to your resume. It doesn't help. So just be honest with whatever you have done. And so I'll just give you a classic example. There was a candidate who was very good with front end and back end.
Yeah.
But since everybody is talking about AI,
Mhm.
this particular candidate also mentioned that thing on the resume, right? So it's very easy for me to catch that candidate because I know that yes, uh, that candidate will not know anything about AI, but I will still respect that candidate for a very good front end and a back end background. I
Mhm.
would probably hire that candidate for serving my front end and the back end
Hmm.
purpose instead of forcing that candidate to fit into my AI stack,
Yeah.
right? So just be honest with what you what you've done,
Hmm.
and just be confident on what you've done and be proud of that instead of just fitting yourself into a block where you just don't belong to.
So, sir, according to you, what are the biggest mistake you see freshers make during an interview or in the first job?
So during the interview, I've already told you, try not to
Yeah.
fake it or fake it till you make it, but you should be so good in faking that yes, you're not caught, which is very difficult right now. Uh, so, and I have had a lot of candidates who've had those AI chatbots open in front of them because it's a VC that is happening, and then I'm asking the questions, and they're probably pausing for a few seconds, and the moment the AI starts giving the answers, then they also start giving the answers. But then that also gets caught. And so this is the interview hack. Uh, the other one is the job. Probably if you're good, you'll get into a job, and uh, if you've got into that job, I'm assuming that you would know some bit of, or you are satisfying some bit of the requirements that the company has. I say just
Yeah.
try to grow yourself over there. Just be as honest and try to grow yourself over there because that's the only mantra for at least the 7 8 years, initial 7 8 years that you have in the company. And beyond that, you can call your shots. The moment you become an expert of something, then you can start calling your shots. But then you have to become some, right? It is
Yeah.
otherwise, if you want to just fake the entire of your professional career, probably you can do that also. The loss is for yours, I'd say.
Yes, so sir, what's like one skill you will wish like every engineering student should have before entering the industry?
Oh, I will say this is not a skill, but this is a uh, maybe you can call it a skill, but I'll not uh, limit it to just engineering. But every student should have that curiosity of what and why. That's what I feel. And that's what takes you longer in the journey anywhere is the moment you start asking what and why every time as to yourself with respect to curiosity and then solve some problems. uh, that's the right way of going because see you have to accept that probably when you will be eligible for a job, that is 2 years from now or maybe 3 years from now, things would be very different. Things are in any case very different right now. So people don't want uh, engineers to just come out and say, okay, I know how to code. That's not a skill that anybody is looking for because in our times, if we would have said that, then we would have had some coding exams, and then probably if I can write a very good recursive C code or a C++ code, I would have got selected because that was the criteria then. Nobody is looking for
Yeah.
that criteria now, right? So now people are looking for you to be a problem solver because a lot of groundwork is done by AI, right? And probably 2 3 years down the line, a lot more. So if you're an engineer and you want to get into a data science job, AI is doing a lot of data mining for you. AI is plotting a lot of graphs for you now. So I don't want your skills in terms of how to operate the Excel, right? How to plot that graph. I don't want that as a recruiter. What I would look at is, okay, I will give uh, you this problem statement, and let us hear how you solve that problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how do you visualize this data? Like, so I don't want you to say, okay, I will do a linear curve, I will do a box plot, I will do a scatter plot. But what will you gain from that is what I want to hear. If you say that, okay, I will plot a scatter plot because I would like to look at the distribution, how it's going. I would like to look at maybe two particular correlations being plotted, and this is the reason why I'm doing this. Is what I want to hear instead of okay, I will plot A, B, C, and D. It's just similar to okay, I used PyTorch, I used transformers, I used uh, ChromaDB, and I built this. So I know that this is going to be required for you to get to that output, right? But why you did this is the question I would really look from you. So I think that curiosity is the biggest solver for all these problems. And the moment you start asking, okay, why am I doing this thing in the first case? Uh, and how is it helping me in the final goal? Probably that will help you to get all those solutions that you're looking for.
Okay. So, so many students hesitate to reach out to experienced professionals.
Uh,
What's the right way to network and build meaningful professional relationships?
yeah. Uh, so that's slightly difficult because students will have their own concerns, students will have their own doubts, and a lot of times professionals may not find time to actually solve those doubts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will not blame any party over here because both are correct uh, and nobody is wrong. But I will say for students to actually network and reach out to professionals, probably get into some projects. It could be core projects, it could be some associated projects, and then uh, reach out with a problem, right? That this is what I'm trying to implement in my project, and this is where I'm getting stuck.
Hmm.
Can you help me with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the professional will be all the more interested in, okay, looks interesting, right? And probably give out a, if it's a one-liner, probably at least give you a feedback. So when you say, okay, I want guidance and I want some insights of what is trending in the market and all, probably somebody who's free and having a lot of time may be able to answer that. But yeah, genuinely, nobody will entertain that.
Yes, sir. Also, sir, you have earned trust across Air Force, academia, and also AI community.
Mhm.
Like, how can students start building the credibility in early of their careers?
Sure. So probably your Git repo is one of the things that is actually reflecting your credibility.
Yeah.
And it's not just mundane projects that you just clone from some other repo, rename that, and then push it to your repo. So we build something unique, build something, or work on something. That is one way. The second way is try experimenting with a lot of things and then post your results somewhere. Even if it's a failure, that's okay. But at least let people know that you are trying to do this and
Yeah.
post those things somewhere. So there could be some articles that you write, there could be some blogs that you write, there could be some even LinkedIn posts that you write. But at least if you're posting that regularly, at least there's a very intuitive conscious that somebody is developing that okay, like this guy sounds serious in this particular area, right? And might as well they would be following you and then getting to know that okay, you are posting these things, and then this is the kind of work that you're doing, and then this is the kind of outputs or achievements that you are getting. You will genuinely see that a lot of people start contributing to your work also,
Hmm.
and that naturally will build a lot of trust.
Okay, so sir, where can you see AI in defense and applied AI heading over the next 3 to 5 years? And what should a student start preparing for today?
So AI is and will penetrate into a lot of places that also means defense. Uh, Defense challenges are certainly slightly tricky because the data is very, very secretive. So probably the proof of concepts that also you do, you'll have to actually assume a lot of things before you get to the right proof of concept. Plus, in defense, I will say there's a lot of difference between what you build and what you deploy,
Yeah.
because the building environment is totally contained. It's I will say that yeah, in this these are the maximum possibilities that I can expose my particular solution to. But in real defense environment, there could be a lot many other possibilities, right? Because you don't know how the enemy will counter for that particular action
Hmm.
that you want to. So, say for example, I build a AI bot to be able to classify or detect particular enemy vehicles, uh, and I've tested it in a lot of enemy vehicles per se, which I presumed as enemy vehicles and built in and tested in my ground, right? But the moment you actually face the adversary, it could be a lot different because they have actually changed all their enemy vehicles or repainted them or probably camouflaged them in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the defense from state fields are slightly tricky because of the reasons I told you. But yes, going down the line, even defense forces uh, are getting aware of this thing, and since they want to build up the solutions, they want to incubate all the technologies that are getting built up. So even they are getting conscious about this, and they are also finding some solutions for this.
Okay.
Sir, if you go back and like want to give a piece of advice to your 22-year-old self, what would it be?
Oh, 22-year-old of me was very mischievous. So okay, let me think. What will I tell to myself? Uh, I mean, I would give the same advice as I told you. Like, just be honest,
Mhm.
just be inquisitive, and yeah, one thing probably I would have given advice to myself is you can take risks, right? A 22-year-old me was not that. I was a risk averse guy that time, probably because of a lot of other situations and conditions. But I just wanted to sort of get into a job and start earning.
Yeah.
So uh, that's why probably I pushed my higher education. I pushed all those certifications which I could have gained then. I pushed all of them because I didn't want to take a risk with my job. But going down the line, I realized that if you're good enough, there will be a lot of takers for you, even if you wait for owning yourself. So yeah, you can take risks. You can take risks. I advise this to a lot of young students who graduating from IIT also that you can take risks. Probably give 1 or 2 years to yourself if you have a very good idea. Just try to invest yourself in that idea so that give just 1 2 years to yourself. Probably you will know that uh, it was not for me, right?
Yeah.
But if you've not done that ever, how will you know that there could have been a brighter day for you?
Yeah.
So I just say you can take risks and you should.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So
So, so what one thing you have seen on a AI resume that
mhm.
immediately makes you reject a candidate?
I told you fake projects. A list of 5 7 projects that doesn't make any sense.
Hmm. Like if a student has only 6 months like to prepare for job
Mhm.
and for the AIML role,
Mhm.
how they should spend that those 6 months.
Follow the right channels on X.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, take the right skill, like gain the right skills for AI, and there are a lot of open courses you'll find on YouTube, you'll find on Coursera, you'll find on Deep Learning AI. Just brush up yourself with all those things. And I will say invest 1 to 2 months in gaining those skills or probably watching those videos and completing all those courses. And then spend the rest amount of time in building something which you've gained. So that 6 months will be good enough for you to learn and then implement and then uh, do some wrong things and learn by that because videos and these courses will give you some amount of knowledge, but the actual knowledge comes with practical implementation. So do some hands-on, do some practicals, and make mistakes over there, and then you will yourself realize that oh, in the theory they said this, but in actual it looks like this,
Yeah.
right? So in the theory they said okay, you can fit in a good model on a good GPU, but the moment I've done that, and the moment my chat history is long, probably my system is crashing.
Yeah.
So why is that? So the moment you get a hands-on skill, it gives you a lot of practical experience in terms of okay, what is right and what is not, and probably you can translate that into your interviews, all those knowledge into your interviews.
Hmm.
Okay, so sir, this is the last question from our side. If you had 100 students with almost identical resumes, what
Mhm.
should make one candidate stand out?
You are not in a capacity to execute those projects
Mhm.
and gain the knowledge out of all those projects. I think two and or maximum three is good enough for you, and these three could be in different domains. So one could be NLP, one could be related to computer vision, the other one could be related to a totally different, tabular data, something like that, or maybe a data science project. So it will give you a holistic view, and it will also give the person who's reading, if at all your resume gets shortlisted from that AI, the person who's reading your resume give a view that okay, this person knows this also, and probably this also. Uh, and yeah, of course, a bit of cloud and all those particular skills which are sort of mandatory now. Uh, I think that will give you a good that will give a good appreciation to the person who's reading that resume. So yeah, I think stop mentioning fraud analysis. I've done fraud analysis as my project. I've done RAG. RAG everybody does now. Uh, Probably start writing that yeah, how you achieve the agentic application, yeah, how you implemented a agentic architecture and then achieve this particular thing. So it could be a multi-agent system. All the agents are performing something else, and you're achieving the output. Something like that. In fact, one project like that itself would be good enough instead of mentioning seven different projects, which is not making any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us.
Yeah.
And it was very incredibly insightful conversation. And we are sure our audience is gonna learn a lot from your experience.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Where
Absolutely,
is it going
sir.
to be
That
published?
your journey shows that a great career are built through continuous learning, curiosities, and adapting to change. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing your experiences and advices with us.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with your friends, and let us know who would you like to invite us next.
Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next episode of the Garnishi podcast. Take care. Bye bye.